All right, everybody, welcome to Mr. Kitten's radio station. This is Truth Cat Radio. That was him meowing there. You might have heard him. He's usually not that anxious. I thought something was wrong, but I guess he needed to get out here. Anyway, if for some reason it cuts out, it's the streaming service. In fact, I've only been streaming live now. Not live, but streaming it all for 2 hours, 41 minutes, and 5 seconds as we speak. It's been cutting in and out. So we've gone for 2 hours and 41 minutes straight. And let's see if we can go for another hour before the thing cuts off. And it does cut off. You're going to have to reboot, reset your thing, reload it. And if it's not connecting to the server, well, then you're just going to have to wait. But like I said, I can't even record unless I'm hooked up to the server. It's pretty screwed. Hey, wonderful, huh? Anyway, like I said, this is Mr. Kitten's radio station. He's calling it Truth Cat. And this is the Stephen D. Kelly show. I just have a show here. It's his station. But I just have to say, I don't have a title for you, first of all. And I want to let you know that I'm still... well, clinging to that anger problem. It hasn't gone away yet. I was hoping to have it solved. But no. Still pretty angry. Bordering on hatred. Hatred. There's that word. Yep, freedom of speech. That's what it's all about. But it's all loose production, okay? Lots and lots of loose production. And I make some pretty strong loose. They love it. Anyway, so I haven't had any kind of a reset since the assassination thing, and since then, I've only seen it getting worse. So our mission is important, of course, but what I'm trying to say is that the events that are going on, the things that we have to look forward to from here on out, are really fucking bleak. And I suppose the harder we work to expose the pedophiles, the worse that will get. At least, if you were to say Donald Trump's Jeffrey Epstein pedophile issue is never going to go away, and he certainly seems ready to burn the world in order to save his ass. Obviously, that's the beauty of the Occupy the Getty mission, is that we don't have to run around and say bad things about people. All we have to do is say, investigate this crime going on down there. It has nothing to do with being antiseptic or bigoted or whatever label that they want to use. Contrary to your own well-being. Where are you? I don't see you on the map. Maybe I need to reload. See if you're out there. Nope, not there yet. All right, anyway, I'm going to be doing some review. I mean, not really reviews per se, but I'm going to talk about some of the things that are going on in the world. I mean, it's like when these things happen, I always want to make a video, put out my opinion, say what's going on, give some analysis, but I hold myself back because what's the point? Who's going to hear it? Kind of like tonight. Anyway. Yeah. All right, I have to... Seriously, when I put it like that, it makes me not even want to do it. But here we go. People. Give me a reason. I swear. It's like our group. steadily sinking. The only thing we get in our group anymore is people trying to make a fucking buck with crypto or some bullshit. I swear. The level of stupidity in the world is fucking overwhelming right now. Overwhelming. There's always some money attached. Oh, I need that money. You know, here I am trying to save the world so all the stupid fucks don't have to be like slaves constantly chasing those fucking shekels. But no, they keep doing it. You know what's crazy about this fucking greed? Even when you take a fucking asshole like Trump, he just can't get enough. He can't squeeze enough shekels out of you. Here he's going to reintroduce his failed vodka line, and people are probably going to suck that up. Trump vodka. My God. I mean, my God, he has White House press conferences with a big gold Trump card behind him. That shit is real. That Bitcoin scam shit Trump crap is real. You know, here's another thing that I wasn't even planning on talking about tonight, but I might as well get into it. Wasn't even on my agenda, but it's another thing I wanted to try to explain to you. But this is what's fucking coming. All this debt, this $40 trillion in debt, is going to be wrapped up in Bitcoin. And it's going to take your fucking money, all of it. It's going to take my money too. Another reason why I'm pissed off, because I don't have any money. The little bit I get, they're setting it up to take it away with your Palantir and shit. Your social credit system. You know, oh gosh, something happened. You can't access your account. Like Vietnam, they just wiped out, $87 million worth of accounts because people refused to get a biometric ID. We'll be getting that soon. Anyway, they're going to tie the debt to the crypto. They're going to try to digitize the currency, digitize the economy. And then with a push of a button, they're going to devalue it. Just like that. Boop. Devalued. By the amount of, $40 trillion. Wipe that debt out. It's all gone. Where'd your savings go? Your IRA? You know, here's the thing. I remember it was only, probably less than 20 years ago, they took everybody's fucking IRA. Does anybody remember that? You know, I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars people lost. You know, your average homeowner who'd been working for, you know, a long time, say like somebody my age or even a lot younger than me that put money into their Roth IRA account or whatever, they saw $20,000, $40,000 just taken. You guys remember that? Oh, guess what? Your retirement's gone. Yeah, we needed that. Kind of like my Social Security that I'm getting paid for in 1976 amounts with 2025 inflation. It's worthless. There's no adjustment. There's no adjustment, real money adjustment. Hell, back when I was working as a youngster paying into that system, you know, gasoline was, I could fill up my tank of my station wagon, huge gas tank, monstrous vehicle for like $10. I thought, wow, that's a lot. It's costing me a whole $10 to fill up my tank. Jeez, how am I going to make it? Oh, yeah. About that time, Rob, I was looking at a sweet 69 Mustang Boss 482. Yep, with a rocker top and everything. $2,400. Nope, didn't get it. You know why? Too much motor. Oh, my God. Yep. Anyway. So, yeah, that's coming. People are going to take all our money. I'm really pissed off about it, you know, and it's like all the things I got to talk about. This is the last thing I wanted to talk about, but it's like, you know, I'm watching. I saw this thing, a Palantir thing, the assholes, Jewish guy that runs Palantir, not Peter Thiel, the other one, curly-haired fag, but he says that he was, I don't know, talking to a bunch of Jews, I guess, at some, convention that they were having, and he was telling them how he was going to use their tools to squeeze their enemies economically. He said that the best tool that they had against their enemies was to take their money away. Take their money away. Wow. How good they are at that. Where does that money go? Under the Getty. Wow. Well, there are some bright spots in the world, of course, and I would say that would be Russia. China, not so much, but it's all, if you're an American and you're watching this fifth column come in here and destroy your country while these other countries, seize the initiative, I suppose it'd be something like being a Ukrainian and watching your country being wiped out. But, those people that they put in charge, they're pagans. We've talked about Ukraine, but we're going to talk about it again tonight because I have to dispel a lot of the crap coming out of the mouth of people like, Donald Trump and Zelensky and such. But, if we're going to talk about the world leaders and the world events, we got to talk about the event going on right now in New York. And that, of course, is the United Nations, whatever you want to call it, summit. I don't know what the hell. They're all big. They all fucking come around a long time. And I'll tell you, this particular United Nations, whatever it is that is going on here with all the world leaders showing up at one time, it's the biggest fucking clown show I've ever fucking seen at the United Nations. Seriously, the biggest fucking clown show. And the clowns aren't just representing various countries and getting up there and speaking, but they're actually running the United Nations. They're vying for position. The biggest, most guilty, bloody fucking retards are vying for position. I don't know what it is with the fucking retards, but man, they are the ones getting the cushy jobs. I wanted to talk about Moldova before I got into the UN. Maybe I will cover some of those events. But, here's one of the things I wanted to talk about. European troops are starting to mass in Moldova. And you think, what the hell, who cares about Moldova? It's just this little sliver of territory on the western edge of Ukraine, which is, somewhat not connected to Ukraine. It's its own country, even though Ukraine, like assholes that prevented it from having access to the Black Sea. That's the first thing I would do if I was in charge, was grant them access to the Black Sea. But there's this little section of Moldova, I guess you'd call it like, I don't know, a county or a state or however they've got it. What's this called? Transnistria. Now, in Transnistria, these guys, they're on the edge of Moldova with Ukraine on one side and the rest of Moldova on the other. They border. Their borders the edge of Ukraine. But anyway, the bottom line is these people they're pro-Russia. They're pro, they're anti-fascist. They're anti-Nazi. Well, the Ukrainians, of course, and not so much the Ukrainians. I mean, they're already in Ukraine. They want to invade this territory, take it over. And the Moldovans, of course, the EU puppets that are in control there, the likes of Maria Sandu, completely false leader that was stuck in there by the EU. She's got troops massing there. They're getting ready to go in there. Now, why is that important? Transnistria, why is that important? Well, the Soviets built an ammo dump there a long time ago. And that ammo dump is still there. And this particular ammo dump wasn't just any ammo dump. It was the, shall we say, the Armageddon bunker for the Russians in Ukraine, or on the border of Ukraine right there. And so it's got a lot of stuff there. Now, I suspect that even though it's mostly old Soviet stuff, that there's probably enough shells there and ammo and AK-47s and who knows what, anti-tank mines, this sort of thing, perhaps even old tanks, to keep Ukraine in, to keep people dying for quite a while. They're kind of eyeing that stuff. Well, here's the thing. One of the big Russian generals here, he made a comment, and this wasn't even recently. He said this years ago, but he said if this ammo dump, something were to happen, it were to blow up, and calling it an ammo dump is probably making light of what it is. It's it's probably got quite a bit of important stuff there, but he said there was something like 500 carts. No, I guess that would be like a storage container. He said there was the equivalent of something like 500 storage containers filled with explosives. And he said if it was to blow up, it would basically turn the area into, he said, the Sahara Desert. I don't know. But boy, that would be quite a thing if they were to say, French, German, English, Belgian, whatever troops invade there with the help of, and then on the other side, of course, whatever. Who knows what they're trying to do? They're trying to capture this thing or destroy it or cause some event. I mean, it's bad. That's just one of the things that's brewing right now that could happen any day. In fact, the invasion of Transnistria is probably going to happen soon after this show. That's my prediction. Relatively soon. This is kind of a big deal. Again, before I get into the whole UN stuff, there's other fronts, there's other stuff going on. This bullshit with Azerbaijan and Armenia and Turkey, of course, what they've been doing, both of those leaders coming to the United States. Azerbaijan is becoming a problem. They are being pushed hard into becoming another front against Russia. They big long border with Russia. And they're getting pumped with all kinds of crap. These guys are an ally of Israel also. They've used Israeli ordnance to commit genocide against Armenians, take over huge swaths of territory. And the American, the Western leader they have allows it to happen, These guys are bought off. This is a problem. Georgia, which is right next to Azerbaijan, just to the west of it, they tried to do that already. They already had the Russians had the Russians in there having to deal with separatists and what have you. That could happen at any time also. So both of those countries are potential fronts that could go at any time. This is what the United States does. The West, or the pitiful Europeans, we can talk about all of them, especially when we get to the UN, have been recording a lot of incidents. And this is another one of these subjects that I wanted to talk to you about, a short video that I never made, and that was the so-called drones that have been landing, I'm not saying crashing or blowing up, but actually just landing in Poland, one of the many so-called, shall we say, intrusions of so-called Western airspace. All right, here's what's going on. The Russians, very often when they fly their Giron drones into Ukraine, sometimes 1,000 of them a night now, very often will be accompanied by decoys that look exactly like the real thing. The only difference is that, yes, they have a motor and they have the same shape, except that the entire structure is basically made out of foam, kind of like a child's toy, glider type thing, and maybe covered with tape or something to, give it a little more structural integrity, with a minimal of components to make it fly. Now, of course, these things don't blow up. They're decoys, and a lot of them are probably falling harmlessly into fields and places all over Ukraine, and they've been able to grab enough of these things, get the motors working, and get them working so that the Ukrainians now could actually launch these foam decoys into Poland. Remember, there's no guidance, no warhead, nothing. Just, like flying a kite with a little motor on it. They will let it go. And this is supposed to be a scheme to get Article 5 triggered with the NATO so that all the other countries will respond to this provocation. It's a provocation. It's an attack against Poland, a NATO member. This sort of thing's been going on for a while, just like the missile that crashed in the field in Poland and killed a farmer and his wife. Turned out to be a Ukrainian missile, of course, but, but they've, again, provocation. And then there's the overflights, the so-called MiG overflights at, where is it, Estonia? Tallinn, where is that, Lithuania? Tallinn? They had a little rock out bear in mind, this is a very small waterway over there, and they fly from one Russian base to another Russian base. Kaliningrad is right next to these countries, and supposedly a jet strayed, got a little too close to one of these rocks that is in Estonian whatever, and instead of zigging around the rock, he probably flew right by it. And this caused a 12-second violation of Estonian airspace, allegedly. Now, the Estonians, you think, well, okay, why didn't they, or, Lithuanians, whoever it was, Latvians, whichever idiots these guys were at the time, pretty sure it was Estonia, but they did have a couple of their own jets scrambled. But the thing is they waited 12 minutes for the Russians to leave before they went up there and scrambled and said, "Oh, here we are. Yes, we're tough. Don't you do it again, and you better not come back." Anyway, so that was bullshit. And then let me see, where was it? Several airports have been getting shut down. I think London just got shut down. I believe Spain had some issues. Could have been France, other European. And these are because of so-called drones supposedly showing up and disrupting everything and flashing lights and scaring people. Now, the last time that happened here in the USA, we found out that it was the USA that did that. So, seriously, this is all it takes to get these people whipped up into some sort of a fear frenzy. And then there's, of course, the GPS shutdown. Ursula was supposedly landing somewhere, I don't know, somewhere in the east. She had to divert her landing to Romania or some stupid thing or Bulgaria. She couldn't land in Romania. She couldn't land in Romania because her GPS was shut down, so she had to land in Bulgaria using paper maps. And they said this was the Russians that did it, which is bullshit. And that they pulled that again and said, what? Yes. The Spanish defense minister was flying near Kaliningrad, and supposedly he lost his GPS signal too. Seriously, this is the sort of stuff we're supposed to get excited about. Then there's the United Nations. Well, before I talk about all the idiots that are at the United Nations, let's talk about some of the new key players. I know we don't pay much attention to all this stuff, and we don't pay much attention to the Europeans in the West, but But Germany's very own Annalena Baerbock is serving for 1 year as the position of, what is it she is? The head of the Security Council? Not sure if that is the president. Anyway, she's a very substantial person over there. And then there's the International Atomic Energy Association's very own, what's his name, Grossi? And he wants to be the UN Secretary General. They want to make him the head of the UN. I don't know who it is right now, but, you know, the UN has had some very, shall we say, distinguished people leading it over the years. Some of them have been assassinated by the United States. What was the last one? He was killed in a bombing in Baghdad. Cool guy. They made a few movies about him. Anyway, they got this retard Annalena Baerbock, and then they've got this Zionist puppet who spilled his guts about everything in Iran. He wants to be the head of the UN. That's he thinks that's his reward. Hell, Iran, that's the other thing that's going on. You know, all these guys are scrambling right now to say that they recognize Palestine. They recognize Palestine. What a joke. You know, speaking of the UN, talking about the clown shows, I remember it wasn't in my own lifetime. I saw Yasser Arafat with his thing on his head and his military fatigues and his potbelly and his neck beard and his trusty Colt 45 in his military holster strapped to the side of his waist, appearing behind the podium at the United Nations. He appeared at the United Nations with his pistol by his side. And he got away with it because he said that he was under so much of a threat. Well, we all know who was threatening him, but yeah, I don't know if that has ever happened before or has ever happened again, but that is the last time I remember. Now, he was the president or the head of the PLO, which was a real live organization, the Palestine Liberation Organization, a very violent organization at times, but at the same time legitimate, unlike Hamas, which was created by Mossad. Oh, but Hamas. Oh, but October 7th. It's coming. The atrocities. You know, it's another reason why they had to kill Charlie Kirk, because he flat out said there was a stand-down order. They did it to themselves. Self-inflicted atrocities. They sacrificed their own people like nothing. That is their MO. They've been doing it for centuries. Back to NATO for the UN. I have to say before I go to that, I should mention Romania. You know, Georgescu, the guy that won the election twice, but had to withdraw because, you know, they wouldn't allow it. He peacefully withdrew. They want to throw him in jail. See, quitting like a pussy isn't enough. Not enough. They're going to try to destroy you even more and throw you in jail. Let that be a lesson to you. You give up, they make peace with you, they will still fuck you till you're dead. You make it easy for them. Anyway, back to NATO. The worst, or UN, the worst thing, the most disgusting fucking example of this country in the so-called West that took place at this fucking NATO meeting was the fucking ISIS asshole al-Jawlani, so-called fake president of Syria, head chopper motherfucker, coming and making an appearance at the fucking UN, alongside of the other illegitimate fucking asshole Zionist bastard Zelensky. Illegitimate, unelected, unconstitutional leader of a puppet state in a proxy war with Russia that we control. But no, Donald Trump says, no, I'm not involved. I will gladly sell weapons to NATO, and I don't care what they do with it. And they're gonna pay us for those weapons, and they can give them to Ukraine if they want, but I don't care because we're getting paid. Now, first of all, they don't even bother to say that with Gaza. They just ship those weapons over and don't even make excuses or even pretend to not be involved. But the thing is NATO, we're not talking about the UN now, we're talking about NATO. What is it? 80% of the NATO budget comes from the United States taxpayers. So that money that we're supposedly getting paid for those weapons that we're donating, don't worry. We're not donating shit because we're getting paid. We're paying ourselves, you stupid fuck. Fucking Europe doesn't pay the NATO budget. We do. It's fucking retarded. And everybody buys this shit because they're fucking retarded. Fucking ISIS at the UN. And here's pictures of Donald Trump shaking hands with al-Jilani. Here's fucking General Petraeus. What is he? CIA, NSA, whatever motherfucker. And here he is meeting on stage with al-Jilani saying, "It's a pleasure to meet you, sir." What a fucking ballless fucking piece of shit. And, you know, I'm seeing that and I'm thinking to myself in my devious fucking evil brain, I'm thinking how I could smuggle a razor blade in my hand to go up and slice his throat as I fucking shake his hand. Would it be worth it? Yes. But no. You think I'm making this shit up? No. I'm thinking straight razor, small razor, tiny razor, something that shoots out from the wrist under the sleeve. I mean, something that wouldn't get caught on the whatever. Something maybe made out of, I don't know, polyurethane. That's right. Anyway, what is that? Is that hate? Is that hate? I'm supposed to turn the other cheek and the fucking United. What am I supposed to hate more? The fact that motherfucking head chopper is alive and destroyed and continues to destroy Syria, and Syria will never come back, and people are still dying over there because of that motherfucker, or should I hate the United States for propping him up, or should I hate Israel for controlling the United States and using us and our money to prop him up, just like everything else? I'm supposed to hate these actions, and here we have this al-Jilani, this unrepentant head chopper bastard, being celebrated in our country. Former $10 million bounty on his head, now completely gone. Now he's fucking celebrated, protected as a fucking diplomat in our country. We probably have to provide police protection for him. Could you imagine being a law enforcement officer and following the order, protect this bastard with your life? What more proof do you need that the people behind the badge or the people behind our military are not fucking humans? Because when it gets down to the end of the day, it's just fucking business. It's that holy buck that they're getting paid for. They don't care because they're getting paid. They'll do what they're getting paid for. It's their job. Fucking disgusting. You know, asshole Trump has been saying endless stupid things. You know, when he shows up at the United Nations, one of the first things that happened, of course, was that he shut down the street. His motorcade shut down the street, and people like Emmanuel Macron or France and Erdogan of Turkey, they got stuck. They got stuck at the light. They had to wait they're all pissed off. And the Turkish guys around the security detail for Erdogan, hell, they moved the damn blockade. They got into it with the police. They got into a scuffle with the police because they're saying, fuck this shit. We are going through this little thing that you put up in front of our vehicle. Of course, Macron, he got out of his car, kissed ass to the cops, and the cops very nicely said, sorry. So he says, well, I'm going to call Donald Trump. like that was going to do something. He gets on the phone with Donald Trump, says, hey, I'm stuck out here on the street because your motorcade. You know what Trump told Macron? He said, well, you better walk. You better walk. That was my attempt at a Trump impersonation. You better walk. Yeah. That's what he told him. And then he gets to the UN, and there's this big scene of him going up the escalator, and the escalator stops, and, with him and Melania, and they go, oh, he was so pissed off. I swear, as soon as I heard that happen, I think, well, I used to turn off escalators all the time. There's a button down there, and I used to kind of kick that button, stop it, just because I was a fucking prankster. And then they'd put a plastic cap over the button, so, you'd have to lift up that cap, and then they sometimes have a key. Well, I looked closely at those stupid escalators that he was boarding, and there was a green button and a red button, and it was within easy hand-touching reach of a person riding on that escalator. Usually they're down by the floor. And if the guy that was behind Melania or Donald, whoever the hell it was going up, I'm assuming Trump went in front of Melania because that's the kind of asshole he is, but I'm not sure. I have to go back and look because she might have been in front. If he was a man, he would have been behind her. And if she was behind him, I'm sure that would have been awful because of his damn colostomy bag that he carries around. He smells like shit all the time. It must be horrible for her to be anywhere near him. Yeah, I'm sure there's got to be huge amounts of, fragrance involved in being able to, tolerate. There's that word, tolerate. Tolerate that stench. But either way, the guy walking behind him, I saw his hand pass over the button, the kill switch. And then he withdrew it, like, really quick, like, oh, my God, what did I touch? You could see him jerk his hand away. So, yeah, he did that. And then, of course, he says that his teleprompter didn't work and his audio didn't work, whatever, Hey, talk to Annalena Baerbock. Seriously. Talk to Al Jolani. Talk to whoever. Talk to Grossi. The idiots in Iran, they're actually rebuilding their nuclear program, and they're totally blown it. This whole business with, we're going to go to 60% and screw you guys, and now they say, well, we're going to let the IAEA back into the country. Yeah, they're setting themselves up. And you know what? It's going to happen. I mean, my God, Russia's busy. It's going to be like Syria. Iran's going to go down just like Syria because, these guys seem to be that stupid. There is that much stupid going on. They should have loaded up on SS-300s and SS-400s a long time ago. But nope, they should have gotten in bed with Russia just like North Korea did. But nope. Oh, well. The only thing that keeps your country alive in this world right now is a nuclear weapon and the ability to deliver it. And that club is real small. Oh, Saudi Arabia is going to get nukes from Pakistan very soon. That's happening. Did you know that Saudi Arabia actually paid for the Pakistani nuclear program? It's amazing that they haven't made it official. They probably had nukes for a long time that they can load up under their F-15s or whatever it is they fly. Probably F-35s now. One of the other really incredible things that the idiot Trump said is he's fucking starting to support Ukraine hardcore now. I mean, he still says that, he hates war and he hates all the killing and it's a bad war. But here's the thing. The stupid fuck actually came out and said that he thinks Russia's a paper tiger, which essentially means that it looks good on paper, kind of like we do, but and the reality is that it doesn't have anything behind it. This is insane. You don't say shit like that to Russia because, of course, Russia responded that, no, we're not a fucking paper tiger, idiot. We're a fucking bear, and there's no such thing as a paper bear. And, well, bottom line is you don't talk to nuclear powers like that. It's like when Zelensky was being interviewed at the UN meeting by, some idiot newscaster, and might have been German, but they said, Are you going to, what do you have to say to the people in Moscow right now because of the increased bombing campaigns that are coming, which is something else we got to talk about? And he said, well, I recommend they get into bunkers. They find their bunkers. They know where their bunkers are. And Medvedev, or whoever it was that responded, the Russian response was basically, you know, you don't say shit like that to countries with nuclear bombs because your bunker's not going to help you. It's a really stupid thing to say. And this is what's coming. They're pushing us into that. Maybe they think this weekend they're going to take over Transnistria and find a whole bunch of ammo for the Ukrainians. We'll see what happens, or it'll get all blown up. Who knows? This shit's happening. But this thing about, for some reason, idiot Trump has decided that Ukraine can win this. He actually said that. He said there's a very good possibility that Ukraine is going to regain all of their lost territory and maybe more. Seriously, maybe more. Really? Like the Kharkov region or one of the other failed regions that you tried to take over? It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Where is he getting this information? But you know what? What makes him say that? Because the United States has bumped up deliveries of long-range missiles, expensive weaponry we're not talking about, satellite intelligence is flooding into that country. They are bombing areas in Russia, trying to create terror. They've got asymmetric fucking assholes running around, blowing shit up, burning shit. They lit a fucking zoo on fire in Russia. A zoo. A fucking zoo. You know, and why would they do that? To fucking upset everybody by killing the animals. You know, it's one thing to kill children and old ladies, which they're doing, but you kill all the animals in the zoo, that upsets people. That's the kind of shit they're doing. And Trump's behind that crap. And Zelensky, he knows. So you know what? What do you think's going to happen? It's going to get a lot worse. It's going to get a lot fucking worse. And all these people that think it's never going to come home. It's going to come home. And if it doesn't come from Russia, it's going to come from our government with Palantir doing stuff like, you know, seizing my Social Security, whatever stupid thing that they're going to do, forcing you into a digital currency that they can basically devalue at any time they want. Are we still broadcasting? Look at that. We're still broadcasting. Amazing. Anyway, it's very depressing. Very depressing. And this shit just keeps coming. I don't know. I don't know what disgusts me more. Al Jilani in New York calling Russia a paper tiger. You know, here's the thing. Here's another fucking retarded thing that Trump said. He said that militarily, Russia's not a great military power because he said any real military power would have conquered Ukraine, would have taken all that area in a matter of weeks. You know, like we do when we take on territories that we subsequently lose, like Iraq or Afghanistan, take your pick. But shock and awe, you know, bomb everything in sight, kill everything, but basically leave the whole country intact. The Russians don't play that way. They do what they call aggressive attrition. They did the same thing with the Nazis. And, you know, they have worn down, sure, they've wasted a lot of valuable Russian lives, but they have worn down the entire West. Israel couldn't even last 2 weeks against Iran. They have no depth. The United States has no depth. You don't have any THAADs. You don't have any Patriots. You don't have anything. Well, we have a lot of fucking hot air and assholes like Lindsey Graham telling the world 500% tariffs and bomb the hell out of everybody like Hiroshima. You know, those Minuteman missiles that we have protecting our country, one of the triad, part of the triad, they should have been retired a long time ago, and their life expectancy just got extended another 20 years. We have 50-something-year-old Titan missiles. They're supposed to be protecting us. when Russia's got SS-300s and SS-400s and who knows what coming that can take those things out in flight. Meanwhile, Russians have hypersonic delivery systems that we can't stop. And somehow we're supposed to feel safe when these bastards provoke Russia into a nuclear war. That's what's coming. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Still broadcasting. How about that? Anyway, what would make me happy? You know, I haven't played a video game in a long time. I used to play video games when I wanted to escape, and I realized the last couple games I played, one was you colonize a planet, you're living on a planet by yourself, and the other one was you're a castaway on a deserted island and you have to survive. Both of those were, you know, survival games. You're by yourself in a place with nobody else. So I'm thinking, you know, wow. I can't do that now. No time for games. The world's burning. It's going to burn. I know the only thing that'll save it. And yet, the powers and forces of the enemy are just getting worse and worse and worse. And yet we have scummy bitches like that wife of Charlie Kirk, who obviously, you know, let me just say this about Charlie Kirk's wife. My intuition, what I detect a Mason bitch, I detect mafia, and this Romanian child exploitation thing she's involved in. I smell Tate Brothers. I smell mafia. I smell Romanian, Jewish, Russian mafia. I smell Gary Grinberg. I smell Florida. There's a lot of mafia in fucking Arizona. A lot of mafia. What do you think Kane was? McCain. Hell, the governor of Arizona has been mafia forever. It's all mafia. We already know this. Some places it just stands out more. So now you got some mafia bitch throwing Satan signs up, wearing Templar crosses with Masonic jewelry up there representing Charlie Kirk. You know what? Tucker's looking pretty good. He seems to have kept the faith. They're calling him a lot of horrible names now, which seems to indicate he's doing the right thing. I wish they'd start calling me more names. I wish these famous people would start saying my name and getting my mission out there in front of these people so we could have something else to be angry about instead of this contrived bullshit. I want people to be angry about the Getty. I want this shit over. I want it over quickly because I don't want to spend the rest of my life angry, an angry old man, because people around me are too retarded to make the right choices. It's very upsetting. The vacation would be really nice. A lot of things would be nice. Hell, I was starting to miss my family, my wife mostly. Seriously, after how long has it been? You know what? I shouldn't have to live like this, but until I complete my mission, I'm screwed. It's just the way it's going to be. So I want to thank all you people that are helping me so much, and every day I see more and more people, you know, you guys share stuff that people post on Telegram, not Telegram, but Twitter and what. Hey, not Twitter, fuck Twitter. Twitter's screwed now. It's owned by the Jews. Jews took it over. Not Twitter, but yeah, obviously they are. TikTok, oh my God. The Zionists took over TikTok. It's better now. Trump says it's better because his great company, Oracle, took it over. Wow, that's great. Yeah, the richest man in the world now because he made a deal to basically help Palantir, steal everything from us. Yeah, so they could take away our money like the Palantir assholes said, because that's how they're going to control you. They're going to take your money away. You said something wrong? Oh, gosh, something went wrong with your bank account. You're going to have to try to figure that out. Oh, gosh, your credit cards got canceled. Oh, gosh, that medical treatment you wanted so bad. Oh, you're not going to be able to get it. You lost your insurance. Hell is coming. And you know what? Boiling frogs, people. I'm really angry. I don't like this fucking boiling water bullshit. I wish people would wake up. I mean, more people are waking up. Like I said, you guys are doing your job and people are talking about it, but it can't come quick enough. It can't. How many more people have to die? Trump doesn't care anymore. Bibi Netanyahu goes around the world telling everyone that he controls the United States. He controls Trump. Trump does whatever he says. Of course he does. Jeffrey Epstein. What did Trump say on that statue? What was that little letter that Trump wrote that he swears that he did not write? What does it say? It says, you know what? Some things are better than having it all. You know, I'm paraphrasing, of course, but he said there's things out there that we share that are better than having everything. He says, what do you do when you have everything? And they said they shared their little secret. We know what that is. That's just pedophilia. That's just little girls. That's the thing they shared. He says that's that evil thing that they shared because they were wealthy and they had everything and they could get whatever they wanted. So they had that. And Trump swears up and down that's not him. And yet his signature is placed on the doodle to represent pubic hair. Seriously. The sickness that controls this country and the world right now. It's disgusting. If you're not angry, we'll just love it to death. We'll just pray that it goes away. I don't know, people. I don't know if that kind of energy is going to really spread the word. I don't know. I don't think Jesus is expecting us to, die on a cross for the enemy this time around. I really don't think so. I think it's lake of fire time. That's what I think. I don't think Rambo has a lot of emotion when he tosses these guys into the lake of fire. But to me, my feeling is that Rambo's always angry. But how would you feel? How's a warrior supposed to feel? Controlled rage all the time until the war is over. And that's a sacrifice that we have to make as warriors. And if that's not your world, if you can't do that, you're not a warrior. You're not one of the fighters. But those of us that are fighting, if you don't have that fire in you, if you're not raging over the injustice and the crimes of our enemies, you're a robot. I guess if you're a Rambo or the Holy Spirit and there's no emotion, you're just following orders and slaying demons. Maybe it doesn't matter. But we're humans and we need motivation constantly, apparently. And what more motivation do you need? You're sitting in a pot of boiling water. You're not dead yet, but it's coming soon. If you want to help me stay alive, you can send me some money to my PayPal because you know what? Seriously, I'm expecting them to be taking away my money. I got this month, September, whatever it was, my payment for my Social Security, which is like nothing, was the first month that it came on the silly plastic card. I'm in the system now. Scary crap. It could disappear from that card pretty damn easy. And what would I do about it? Make a phone call? Pretty fucked up. It's coming. Anyway, if you want to help, hopefully you guys keep your noses clean and keep your heads above water, and then you can help support me because it's going to get rough for us. I mean, those of us that are out in the open. I mean, obviously, I want it to get rough for me. I need it to get rough for me. Look at those damn LED trucks I wanted to build and have an LED truck. Did you see the LED trucks paid for by Israel? There's a whole line of them. There's like a dozen of them saying, never forget October 7th. They're going to be running around all over New York. But hey, we can't do Occupy the Getty. The good news is that the Occupy the Getty or the OTG items page is moving forward. I'm kind of taking control of the WordPress a little bit. it gives me confidence. So that's good word. That's good news. Otherwise, well, like I said, help me out if you can. Send whatever you can to the PayPal as long as it works, which is StephenKelly714 at yahoo.com. And if you want to talk to me at all, please send me emails. For whatever reason, you like the show, you like something I said, you don't like something I said, send me an email, law17gun@aol.com. Don't confuse those two emails, please. And if you need healing, obviously when I'm filled with this energy, it's not a great time for healing, but yet at the same time, I still managed to pull off a few miracles here and there. Maybe if I was happier, my miracles would be better. Like, when I'm raising somebody's O2, I'll get it up to, 97% instead of 87. My healings might be a little bit better. Who knows? Such is the nature of chi. Oh, well. When you're a warrior, though, you have to put up with this shit. If you want to join me as a warrior, let me know. Send me an email. Otherwise, I'm going to thank you guys for being here. Whoops. And I'm going to remind you that we are Truth Cat Radio, Mr. Kitten's radio station. What am I doing here? Oh, yeah, I was trying to set up my music. I just want to remind you that that's who we are. I want to thank you for listening. But, well, I hope you'll tune in soon, and I hope I got something better for you next week. I mean, I tell you, though, that whole hate study that we did was a winner. That's something that we're going to probably have to pursue. And boy, I'll tell you, I would like to lose some of that energy right now if you guys can help me. Sure would. All right. I'd like to say I love you all, but I think tonight I'm just going to say, my name is Stephen Kelly, and this is Truth Cat Radio, www.truthcatradio.com, and this is the Stephen D. Kelly Show. God willing, you'll be here next week, and we'll all be here next week, and God willing, we will complete this mission as soon as possible. On that, I'll say good night. God bless. Adios. And goodbye.